Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. I have long said that the best type of fragrance for pulling compliments is a fragrance that smells like dead fish. That you don't have to pay for. That cures cancer. No, what? That smells like the earth after rain, being rebirthed by the lava flowing down from a mountain to quench its destructive thirst. Oh no, fresh and sweet. Yeah, it's pretty close to the, no, it's not, is it? Fresh and sweet fragrances, those are typically the fragrances that are best at pulling compliments. And today we're talking about one of those two, sweet fragrances. So pretty much everything that we're gonna be talking about here today is at least ranking decently high on the sugar scale. And I would say that if you're after something that is on the sweet side of things that's going to pull you a lot of positive attention, you should know about these. Each one of them will be linked down in the description below, and here are some codes you can use online at a bunch of different websites to save some money. GS11, 11% off flat at fragflex.com. Of course, Twisted Lily and Max Aroma have the hookup on their niche fragrances. And Triple Traders has a good selection of clones, but there are other codes as well. All right, we're doing it in no particular order, and we're gonna kick things off with Ultra Red from Paco Rabanne. Just look at that freaking bottle. Do you think there's any chance that a fragrance that looks like this would not be sweet? Paco Rabanne hits you with the tack, and by the tack, I mean tacky, and that's because they're letting you know right up front, man, this is a loud fragrance, okay? It's an ultra red light that also looks like a stapler gun. I didn't even hit the tester strip, and somehow that tiny little bit that touched down right there is causing it to come through pretty strong. Kind of like that, actually. Yeah. Shouldn't have done that. So this is a very sweet one, of course. It's got praline in here, and vanilla, and citrus, and it's got a nice sugary, sweet opening to it. That citrus immediately attention grabbing. I actually get really nice performance with this one. Some people say that they don't, but I always have. And this used to be apocalyptically expensive. This was discontinued. I'm assuming it actually still is, but they apparently found 52,000 bottles of this somewhere because you can find it really easily and have been able to for a couple years now for not that much money. But used to be apocalyptically expensive. As I said, at discounters, it was nowhere to be found, and you had to look on eBay and pay like $250, $300 for a bottle. That price is absurd. It's not worth that much, but what it goes for nowadays, like 40? Yeah, fantastic at that price point. And it is, of course, a big compliment puller. Otherwise, it wouldn't be allowed in this list. After that, let's go with the one Eau de Parfum Intense from Dolce & Gabbana. This one is not as outwardly sweet as that one. This one makes no bones about it, okay? This one is just like, look at me, dude. What do you expect? It's one of those deals. Sometimes you kind of can judge a book by its cover. And this is one of those circumstances. This one though, look, that's way classier, isn't it? All blacked out with some nice gold on there. This one does not smell like the one Eau de Parfum, even though it is the one Eau de Parfum Intense. It has a very nice classiness to it. You have some neroli in there, some cashmerean, but then you have, of course, that zingy sort of sweetness off the top. You've got a good dose of cardamom here when you first spray it on, leather in the dry down. This is gonna be more of a seductive, sweet fragrance, more so than a bash you over the head sweet fragrance. And I think this one actually gets slept on, gets overlooked a lot. Let's follow this one up with Tobacco and Tonka Bean from Banana Republic. This fragrance, once upon a time, was a little bit of a hype beast and actually smells similar to another fragrance that was also once upon a time a bit of a hype beast, Zara's Rich Warm Addictive. And that's because they have very similar notes. Tobacco and Tonka, obviously in here, but coconut as well. So it gives you a different twist on a more typical tobacco scent profile. That sweetness that comes in from the coconut, giving it something a little extra. And as I said, this line, the Icon line from Banana Republic, used to be a little bit of a hyped line, basically because they came out and their quality was perceived as being up here, but then the price down here. So pretty solid buys. Then over time, they released more and more and more fragrances in the line, and the price was not quite as attractive as it used to be because they were available for much less at discounters. That's where that little bit of hype came in, because if you could get them for more than half off what they retailed for, pretty nice. But they came out with more fragrances, and over time people were just kind of like, oh, okay, like on to different things basically. But this stands the test of time, still really well done. Let's switch it up, go with something different. Tarothi Blue from Afnan. This is of course a clone fragrance of Bulgari's Tiger. So whereas these ones over here are gonna be more sugary, more warm, sweet type of fragrances, this is fresh and sweet. Ah. Yeah, it's that dufecta. It's not a trifecta, it's a dufecta, a bifecta. So this one in the opening just smells absolutely killer. That citrus spice opening is truly fantastic at a fragrance of this price point. It's really top notch. And now there are, of course, a bunch of Tiger clones out there, or you could just go with Bulgari Tiger, of course. So you have alternatives. This is not the only one, but still, for the price point, this is absolutely stunning. Spring, summer, and fall, that is a compliment monster. Let's go niche up next with Parfums de Marly Altair. The newest one until Perseus comes out, which as of when I'm filming this video is actually like right now, so. The used to be newest one, this is right back into that very warm, sweet scent profile, not fresh. Cinnamon, vanilla, cardamom, praline, just basically warm spices, and sweet notes. And I will say that this, out of every PDM I have ever smelled, has grown on me the most. There are Parfums de Marly fragrances that I loved immediately, like Leighton, for example, or Herod. And then there are Parfums de Marly fragrances that grew on me a little bit over time, where I didn't appreciate them quite as much initially, then wore them and grew to like them more. Sedley, for example, I didn't hate Sedley initially, but I grew to like it more. But this one, I was initially kind of lumping this in with the mid-range Parfums de Marly fragrances as far as like my own hierarchy. And as time has gone on, this has crept up to where it's right up toward the top. I'm not gonna put it above Leighton, but it's moved past near everything other than like my top 3 or 4 at this point, which is really crazy to me, because when I very first smelled this one, I was like, okay, it's kind of like reminding me of a few different designer fragrances done in obviously a higher end way, but man, as time has gone on, this has just been a banger. This winter, like, also great compliment puller, as most PDMs are, and good performance too. So Altair, this stuff, if you have not tried this out, get yourself a sample. From there, we go on to Polo Red Parfum from Ralph Lauren. This one has an interesting note in it, which is absinthe, but it's really not a focal point of the fragrance. So it's one of those notes that's more show than go. It's one of those deals where in marketing or something, you can point to it and be like, oh, absinthe, how unique. But then you smell it and you go, but is it really? Not really. And I would be remiss to not point out that this has drawn some comparisons to this Ultra Red, but I think side by side, definitely different enough that they don't overlap that much, other than just being both sweet fragrances that are compliment pullers. They do have that in common. So you get a good amount of citrus here off the top. It is not as sugary as Ultra Red over here. It is fresher in Polo Red Parfum. It does remind me, of course, of the Polo Red fragrances that came before it. Does it have that cranberry in there like some of the Polo Reds that were my favorites? Not really. You can pick up some tart sweetness there that's gonna remind you a little bit of the cranberry in some of the fragrances in the past, but it's not as prominent. It's not a focal point. It's, you know, it's there in memory, basically. You have some nice muskiness, little woodiness there as it dries down as well. Extremely versatile, easy to use stuff. After that, bad boy Cobalt Elixir. Now, this one really got hated on online when it first came out, but I actually think it smells extremely pleasant. Now, that said, it's not directly derivative of just one thing. So this is gonna be one of those scents that when you smell it, you could say, okay, I get the bad boy Cobalt in there. You can pick that up, but there's also maybe a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, you know, a few different things in there. At the end of the day though, it is just so, again, appealing, easy to wear. It slots right in with what's popular right now. And if we're honest, if you're just looking for a fragrance that's gonna get you noticed and get you compliments, especially when it's cool outside during the evening, this will crush it at that. And don't worry about the truffle. It's not like super earthy or anything. I just realized some people would be like, what are you even talking about? There's a truffle note in here. Back to niche with Spirit of Dubai Majlis. Now, I did a house overview on the extra channel, Extra Gents Scents. So if you are unaware of that, check the video out there. But Spirit of Dubai has some really great fragrances that have some absurd note breakdowns, and this is one of them. Let's just open this up here. Look, oh, so fancy. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Absurd note breakdowns? What are you talking about? It can't be that bad. Oh, it can be. Oh, it can be. You gotta be like Rain Man to even count how many notes are in this fragrance. I'm just gonna read this off really quickly, okay? Stick with me. Strawberry, raspberry, incense, peach, rose, cardamom, olibanum, pink pepper, apple, cacao, coffee, green notes, artemisia, osmanthus, grapefruit, dates, saffron, gaiac wood, patchouli, cloves, flowers, powdery notes, carnation, mate, iris, heliotrope, vetiver, incense, honey, yeah, incense again, tobacco, oud, olibanum, again, myrrh, woodsy notes, benzoin, labdanum, hay, leather, sandalwood, vanilla, musk. That's so useful. I complain about fragrances with 3 notes. But that may be too many on this one. That said, this stuff is good. The projection is beast, okay? It lasts forever. The longevity is extreme. The sweetness here is actually, in spite of all those notes, not too overdone. It's balanced nicely with warm spices. You have supporting floral notes in there, woods, resins. So it ends up coming across as a very richly textured Middle Eastern fragrance with actually good wearability in spite of its extreme performance. And also, it looks pretty good. From there we go to Born in Roma, and that's the old goofy Yellow Dream. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Yellow Dream. Yes, I hate that name. And the fragrance I hated very much when it came out, mainly because it is a little derivative of Stronger With You. It has similarities to Stronger With You. That being said, it is fresher than pretty much all the fragrances in the Stronger With You line, at least the ones that you're probably gonna wanna wear. Nice little pineapple blast off the top with this one. And then as it dries down, you get some ginger that comes out as well. So in retrospect, you know, maybe I was too harsh on it because I have obviously worn this more as time has gone along. And then you start to go, well, you know, actually, it's got a lot of versatility. You can use it in more seasons. You can wear it daytime, nighttime. It's a complement puller. The versatility is there. And it's not like it's the exact same as Stronger With You. It's just, you know, got some similarities to it. And this is one where the sweetness is not overdone. So some of these are very, very, very sweet. This one is more fresh and sweet, kind of going back to like this. Not that it smells like that, but that it's fresh and sweet. Let's wrap it up with Herrera once again, 212 VIP Black. Another fragrance with absinthe. We got 2 absinthe fragrances here. It's a little more noticeable in this one. And while this is sweet and does have a good dose of vanilla in there, this one is also not overdosed with sweetness. It's got a little aromatic touch to it. It's got lavender in there, and it's actually surprisingly versatile. A lot of people would pigeonhole this into being a clubbing scent, night out scent, whatever. But in actuality, really fall, winter, and spring, you can wear that about anywhere. Maybe to the office, you'd wear something different, but outside of that. And this is gonna be another one that is to an extent an under the radar compliment puller, because the 212 line, whether we're talking just the original 212 or VIP, has a lot of scents in there that are extremely well done if you're looking for something that has versatility and compliment factor baked in. So 212 VIP Black, gonna wrap this one up. And also, magnetic cap. I have to point it out every time at this point. Thank you guys for hanging with me. There they are, some sweet scents, a nice kind of mixture here of different types, and all of these really, really good at drawing that positive attention. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.